Welcome to U.S. immigration. The COVID-19 pandemic has effectively shut down immigration to the U.S. from abroad. As per State Department's announcement, immigrant and non-immigrant visa issuances dropped to extremely low levels. For Immigrant Visa Backlog, NVC is holding on to 481,965 qualified visa applications that are pending the scheduling of an interview. Similarly for non-immigrant visa, before the pandemic, an average of over 721,000 non-immigrant visas were issued each month worldwide. But now, fewer than 126,000 non-immigrant visas are issued, which is 83% reduction in visa issuance. In order to truly reopen the United States to immigrants, the Biden administration must expand the interview waiver and visa waiver options or provide another alternative solution to speed up visa issuances abroad. Only then will the U.S. effectively clear the visa backlog, allowing families to be reunited, businesses to grow, and our shared prosperity to increase, helping the U.S. and the world recover and build back strong from this pandemic-related damages. If you are interested in this topic, please stick around till the end of this video. For your immigration news and updates, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to hit that notification bell. Let's get into the video. As the pandemic continues to severely affect worldwide U.S. consulate operations and visa issuance, families of U.S. citizens and residents, as well as U.S. businesses that depend on foreign talent are hurting. Consular interview appointments are scarce or unavailable. And clients are understandably anxious about being stuck outside of the U.S. for the foreseeable future. Visa backlog at the National Visa Center, NVC, has increased by 800%. State Department recently conducted a Q&A session to discuss regarding this visa backlog. Neal Vermillion from State Department did answer those queries and provided some valuable insights. Let's hear what Neal has to say.
Yeah, my name is Neal Vermillion. I am a division chief here in the Visa Office at Bureau of Consular Affairs. Specifically, my division is the Office of Field Operations, where, among other duties, we provide guidance to our consular sections in our embassies and consulates around the world. In terms of, the IV backlog, it exists, it's there. And, we really do understand the frustrations. I'm sure there's probably frustrated people listening into this call, asking about their particular case or the loved one of this particular case. We truly do understand the frustrations and the hardships, both by the people that are petitioning for their loved ones, by the applicants who are waiting longer than anyone of us would really like for a visa interview. And I want everyone out there around the world listening, whether it's evening, afternoon, morning, to please know we're working as hard as our resources and the conditions allow to adjudicate visa applications as quickly as possible. Obviously, it's our job to do that. It's what we're paid for. It's the right thing to do. Also, President Biden signed an executive order basically directing us to do that. It's the executive order you may know is 14012, entitled Restoring Faith in Our Legal Immigration System. And we intend to do our part to do that. We're fully committed to reducing that backlog. Honestly, this keeping everyone informed is part of that effort. That's one reason why we're doing this. I also want to highlight that we have started posting in the last month, and we'll update monthly on our travel.state.gov website the stats of the immigrant visa backlog. Just to briefly talk about some numbers, if that's helpful. The National Visa Center, the current number of immigrant visa applications that are ready for interviews but not yet scheduled is 481,965. And that's, if you guys think that's a big number, yeah, that is a big number. That's almost 500,000 cases. And that frankly is up from 408,255, which was a figure in January. That's up from, if you want to compare when our last normal month of processing was, that's back in January of 2020, so almost 15, 16, 17 months ago. That was less than 80,000 was the backlog then. So, that number is there. As I said, it's increasing. It will fluctuate over time. This is not a linear process. And I know that number doesn't include cases that were already at posts or cases where people may have already submitted their applications to the petitions to the Department of Homeland Security colleagues, but the case hasn't gotten to NVC yet. So, long-winded answer to your question, but I want to start by saying we want to be transparent about this. You can update and look at our website every month to see what information is out there. In terms of what we're doing, we're throwing all available resources that we can in that, and we're specifically telling our consular sections in our embassies and consulates overseas that after consular sections, of course, are responsible for U.S. citizens and providing support to U.S. citizens. But after that, with respect to visa services, the processing of immigrant visa and fiancé visa is our number one priority, particularly for all immigrant immediate relatives and family-sponsored applicants. So that is number one, and first and foremost. Please understand we're continuing to deal with circumstances on the ground that we can talk about as we go through this session. And the volume and type of visa cases, will continue to depend on local circumstances. We're doing our best to process these applications as much as possible, as quickly as possible, and as safely as possible, while we protect both our applicants as well as our staff from the further spread of the pandemic. We have any number of immigrant visa categories, as many of you know. We have immediate relatives, we have employment-based visas, we have family preference visas, we have diversity visas. We truly recognize the importance of each immigrant visa category and don't want to minimize the importance of those categories. However, during the pandemic, we've been forced to make difficult decisions about how our consular sections should prioritize these applications as they operate in local conditions and before we reach full capacity. So to be clear, as we've developed this framework, this prioritization framework, the underlying principle on which we base this is the primacy of family reunification. It's a clear priority of the U.S. government. It's a priority expressed in the law that oversees immigration, which is the Immigration and Nationality Act. And specifically, our prioritization guidance that we've given both publicly as well as to our consular sections relies on clear direction from Congress that the department must adopt the policy of prioritizing immediate family relatives and K-1 fiancé visas, followed by family preferences. So to get down in the nitty gritty, let's talk about this in detail, because this is, as you mentioned, a really popular question a lot of people ask. So we've given our divided immigrant visa work into 4 priority tiers. We have instructed consular sections where possible to schedule some appointments within all 4 priority tiers. So we're not shutting out any one tier. That said, the majority of cases that a section will process, if they're able to, are going to be in the first 2 tiers. So what are the first 2 tiers? Tier 1 are going to be immediate relative adoption visas, what we call age out cases, which are cases where the applicant will soon no longer qualify because of their age, and certain special immigrant visas, specifically for Afghan and Iraqi nationals who work with our forces and our government, over the last several decades during the conflicts there. Mm-hmm. Tier 2 then are going to be other immediate relative visas. The range of immediate relative visas from spouses to parents, fiancé visas, and returning resident visas. And then the final 2 tiers, tier 3, are going to be family preference visas, other special immigrant visas for certain employees of the U.S. government, and finally the 4th tier, all other immigrant visas, which includes then employment preference and diversity visas. So that's the framework we've given. As mentioned, we're going to try to do as much as we can within each of those tiers. We will do consular sections that are going to process at least some cases in each of those tiers, with, again, the priority being on the first 2.
With that being said, if you do not want to wait, you may talk to your immigration attorney or an immigration expert to check creative ways to move forward with your pending visa case. According to American Immigration Lawyers Association, there are various strategies available to get the visa, but only few of them may be applicable to your situation. Here is the options for you to consider. Number 1. Request an interview waiver for non-immigrant visa renewals. Number 2. Request a visa waiver at the port of entry on Form I-193. Number 3. Apply for an extension of stay in the U.S. Number 4. Seek congressional liaison assistance. Number 5. Find out which posts process visas for third country nationals and apply there. And the last one, number 6. Challenge unreasonable processing delays in federal court. State Department also answered some additional popular questions related to reducing backlog. Here's the questions and their response. Can visa interview happen through virtual platform like Zoom or Google Meet?
I'll give you a simple, straightforward answer, which, again, may not be the most welcome answer, but it's immigrant and non-immigrant visa applicants are required by statute and regulation to appear in person before a consular officer. So it comes down to statute and regulation. As a consular officer who's worked in the field, I also should talk about, there are benefits with this process. National security is our top priority when we adjudicate visa applications. Each prospective traveler undergoes extensive screening, and as part of that, we have this interview process where our officers not only look at the visa application, but they talk to the applicant. They look at the body language. They figure out what the applicant is saying to make an informed decision about whether the person's eligible and whether there are any national security related concerns. So that's more of a long-winded answer, but the short answer, as mentioned, is based in statute and regulation.
Can increasing consular staff in U.S. consulates reduce backlog?
I'm not the resources guy, so I'm not, just to lay that out front. So, I'll defer to those places. But I do want to point out, reiterate some of the points I made earlier, which is, personally, it'd be great. It'd be great to have more staff. It'd be, if I ran the world, sure. But this is not purely a staffing issue. First of all, if the world was perfect and the powers that be in Congress and elsewhere gave us resources, gave us more staffing, first of all, on the staffing front, it takes a significant long amount of time to train, to get people ready to go out into the field and language training in order to adjudicate these cases. But more importantly and more critically, and to the point, in many of these cases, the backlog has arrived for, it's like a perfect storm. All these factors I talked about, the presidential proclamations, the fact that we had to shut down, and the current circumstances that posts face. So given that perfect storm, it will take us, again, back to the patience theme, it will take us time to work through this. We are working and doing our best, is exemplified though by those posts I talked about that are not processing any visas right now. It's going to be a non-linear process. It will go in fits and starts, but we will get there. We'll get there as fastly and quickly and safely as we can.
Have State Department ordered all the U.S. consulates abroad to open?
No, actually, in terms of ordering, what we've done is, let me reiterate the guidance that I've been talking about, is and really state clearly health and safety first. The priority is the health and safety of our applicants. It's the health and safety of our staff. It's the health and safety of everyone that comes into contact at the embassy. And it's also, as we said, following local rules and regulations and restrictions that might be in place. So we cannot order a consular section overseas to proceed if it's unsafe, if the pandemic is still widespread, if there's local regulations, local restrictions, local quarantine programs in effect.
In order to truly reopen the United States to immigrants, the Biden administration must expand the interview waiver and visa waiver options, or provide another alternative solution to speed up visa issuances abroad. Only then will the U.S. effectively clear the visa backlog, allowing families to be reunited, businesses to grow, and our shared prosperity to increase, helping the U.S. and the world recover and build back strong from this pandemic-related damages. Hope the information presented in the video is useful. U.S. Immigration Channel will be releasing a video when additional information is available on any of these program or regulations. If you have not subscribed, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to hit that notification bell. See you soon in our next video.